Hi friends, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I am Ram Mohan Nagoji, Chartered Accountant. Today we are going to learn this program called Finance for Non-Finance Executives. This topic is, when you look at this topic, I hope it will be very interesting for you. This program mainly useful for the people who has a technical background who has not qualified financially, finance or commerce or an accounts, especially for those people it will be useful, particularly in an industry or in the business. Various functions like purchase, sale, production, HR, general admin, all these people on day-to-day basis, they keep transacting various transactions. In each and every transaction, whatever they do, which will have financially impact, this program is useful for them to enhance their knowledge in finance, and also particularly for the people who has a technical background and those who climb the ladder, like they may climb the ladder and manage a business or a company in the position of the CEO or managing director or executive director. For those people, this session will be very important, though they have experience in finance based on their experience or service. I am sure this program further will boost their knowledge, and I am sure they can outperform than those who do not have finance background, finance knowledge. So let us look at this program, what we are going to cover today. See the main contents, why finance for non-finance people. I just now briefed you, and various financial terms what we use on day-to-day basis in accounting and financial statements, and components of financial statements, what exactly it consists of, and profit and loss account analysis and balance sheet analysis. As a part 2, we will cover key ratios and financial health check, how to read financial statements, working capital management, difference between revenue and capital expenditure, difference between fixed and variable expenditure, difference between financial accounting and management accounting. C. Financial statements provide a snapshot of an organization's or a business financial health, giving insight into its performance, operations, and cash flow. Since they provide information on company's revenue, expenditure, profitability, and other key financial information for various analyses, there will be a many stakeholders, both internal as well as external. When it comes to external stakeholders, right from customers, customers normally they would like to see financial health of the company, those who supply goods to them, because customer also expect from their supplier uninterrupted supply to them for longer period. So definitely they will be interested to see the financial performance of their suppliers. Similarly, suppliers would like to know financial performance of their customer. When they supply the goods, they expect money return in normal credit period, all those things. Similarly, government agencies, they assess the economy based on the performance of the various businesses, and also they depend financial statements to assess tax payments by the various businesses. And lenders, both banks and financial institutions, those who lend the money to their business, obviously they lend the money based on their credit worthiness of their customers. And community and society, they also look for financial statements of the companies and organizations around their community area, because the area development, all those things sometimes is taken up by the organizations as a part of CSR, social corporate social responsibilities. When it comes to internal stakeholders, we have employees as well as managers. Employees also, they may look at financial performance of the business because their salaries and their benefits, everything depends on the performance of the company. And also managers who manage the business, they look at financial numbers for making various critical decisions. Normally, if you look at this picture, what happens? Production people always, they try to increase their inventory to ensure uninterrupted production, and purchase people, they expect payments to be done for their suppliers on time and reduce payables as much as possible. When it comes to marketing or sales people, they always try to increase their receivables by selling more and more products to the customers so that they reach their targets, etc. But if all of them have sufficient finance knowledge, definitely they can outperform by managing working capital perfectly, because whatever I shown this picture, actually it is reversal way. We should not do this. Always as a finance person, they try to decrease inventory, decrease receivables, and increase payables to have better working capital in the business. So let us understand three key differences between bookkeeping, accounting, and finance. Bookkeeping, normally it is recording of various financial transactions in a systematic manner. That is called bookkeeping. Whereas accounting is concerned, it includes recording, classifying, summarizing, interpreting the results. This is called accounting. It takes care of including preparation of financial statements, which comprising balance sheet, P&L, cash flow, and notes to accounts, etc. Whereas finance, this includes mainly decision making, strategy, managing, and controlling. These are all the key differences between bookkeeping, accounting, and finance. When it comes to financial transactions, normally what happens, any transactions we classify into asset, liability, income, and expenditure. Asset means normally the resources that will benefit the company for a longer period. We take them into asset. Whereas financial obligations that will be classified as a liability. And when it comes to revenue or earnings for the company, we will record under income. And any charges, expenditure, all those things will be recorded under expenses. Ultimately, income and expenditure will be forming part of profit and loss account. Asset and liability will be forming part of balance sheet. While preparing financial statements, normally we have certain assumptions like going concern, consistency, and accrual basis of accounting. Going concern means normally operations will be continued for the foreseeable future period. Hence, normally assets and liabilities classified as current and non-current. I'm going to explain current and non-current what it means. But otherwise, assumption as a going concern. We will not be closing the business the day we start. We assume always business run for longer period. And another assumption is called consistency. Same accounting policy or method, whatever followed, we are expected to follow consistently year on year, same policy or method of accounting. Then accrual basis of accounting called recording of expenditure or incomes as and when it is incurred, either in cash or credit. It doesn't mean that you have to record the transaction only when you pay or receive. Irrespective of receipt or payment, the moment transaction happens, whether you incur the expenditure for this period means I have to record that expenditure during this period, even if we pay for that expenditure future periods. Similarly, income as well. And certain accounting concepts also we follow while preparing financial statements. One is business entity concept. Normally, we need to treat the business, a company, an industry, or a firm, or enterprise, or any professional firm. We have to treat that as a separate person, like a business entity concept, because it is separate from its owner. Owner's personal expenditure are not part of business expenditure. That is one of the example. Then all the transactions can be measured in terms of money. Those things only will be recorded. That is called money measurement concept. Then matching concept. It means any revenue is recorded, then expenditure relating to those revenues only needs to be recognized. That is called matching concept. Suppose example, if I sell 100 units of products for particular period, I should be able to recognize the expenditure pertaining to those 100 units of products only for that particular period. Then only matching concept happens. Then only you can recognize the accurate profit or loss for that period. And historical cost concept. This is mainly for recording fixed assets. Always assets needs to be recorded at acquisition cost. And revenue recognition concept. Revenue should be recognized only when significant risk and rewards are transferred to the buyer. One simple example I tell you. If you are delivering the goods to the customer at your business place, that is called X works, and then your risk will be transferred to the customer as and when you deliver the goods to the customer at your workplace. That is called X works. Suppose if your Incoterm is to be delivered at customer's place, then you have to recognize the revenue only when your customer takes the delivery of the goods which you have shipped to them. So that is called revenue recognition concept. While preparing financial statements, we follow certain specific accounting principles, methods consistently. So there are various methods. Say examples, valuation of inventories, valuation of fixed assets, valuation of investments, valuation of goodwill, methods of depreciation, treatment of retirement benefits. These are all certain examples. While preparing financial statements, what we follow accounting policies. See, in simple terms, how every transaction gets recorded for preparation of financial statements. If you look at the picture, see, those days in olden times, accounts person used to sit at one place, isolated place, and used to record all the transactions, whatever is happening across the organization. Nowadays, in ERP environment, transaction happens everywhere. Say, for example, at the sales place, at the purchase place, everything, everywhere transaction happens. The moment you buy the goods and the moment goods comes in, the moment goods receipt note prepared, transaction gets recorded. Similarly, when you dispatch the goods, the moment you raise the invoice, transaction gets recorded. That way, the moment you pay the salaries, accounting entry gets passed. So, lot of automatic entries gets passed in ERP environment. So that way, every cycle, order to cash or procure to pay or fixed assets procurement or new projects or production, everything gets recorded based on accounting policies and certain standard operating procedures. Document flow accordingly. When it comes to financial statements, normally what it comprises of. One is mainly profit and loss account, which shows performance and achievements of the business. Next, balance sheet that shows company's financial health. Then cash flow statement, movement of cash, inflow and outflows. Then it also comprising significant accounting policies. Then notes to accounts. Notes to account is one more important area wherein detailing will be there for the numbers or for the any other numbers which are shown in balance sheet and the profit and loss account. These are the main components of financial statements. And certain other terms when it comes to Normally we used to keep hearing say current asset, current liability. What is that current asset? What is that current liability? Current asset shall be classified as current when it satisfies few of the conditions or certain criteria. Say example, normally asset is expected to be realized in or intended for sale or consumption in the normal course of the business in one operating cycle. Normally, operating cycle is right from acquisition of assets or material for processing and their realization in cash or cash equivalent after selling the goods. This is called one operating cycle. Normally, it is assumed to have duration of 12 months. So, whatever I will be able to convert assets into liquid position, that is called current asset. Similarly, current liability, it is expected to be settled in a company's normal operating cycle. So, as I mentioned in the case of current asset, similarly here liabilities, I should be able to pay within operating cycle, or if I should be able to settle the obligations within the operating cycle. That is called current liabilities. In simple way, if you see here how profit and loss account appears and how your revenues will be reduced to the profit by meeting all sort of expenditure. If you see picture here, sales, if you see, assume this is the revenue. Out of revenue, if you deduct cost of sales, that is cost of goods sold. If you remove, then we can get gross profit. Out of gross profit, further if you deduct indirect expenditure called various overheads, selling and admin overheads, including advertisement, etc., everything if you deduct, then it will be operating profit. Then out of operating profit, further if you deduct interest and tax, then it will be called as a net profit after tax. This is the net profit after tax. This is profit for the business for that particular period. Suppose if you declare dividend and if you pay off dividend out of the profit what you have earned, then remaining profit will be calling it as retained profit. Ultimately, these profits will be called as a reserves and surplus. These retained profits. See, if you see the statement of profit and loss account here, this is typical profit and loss account. Normally, you cannot see this much detailing profit and loss account in any published annual report because here few more line items got added for better understanding. Say example here, from the sales, if you deduct raw material and changes in stocks, that is called material consumption. If you reduce, then you will get contribution. Normally contribution divided by sales is called contribution percentage. Sometimes normally contribution how we calculate sales minus all variable expenditure, that is called direct expenditure, which includes direct labor, direct material, direct consumables. If you deduct, that is called contribution. Then from that contribution, further if you deduct like selling, admin and other expenditure, then it will be called operating profit, EBITDA. Operating profit just before deducting depreciation and interest. So EBITDA nothing but sometimes you call it as PBITDA, profit instead of earnings. So EBITDA means earnings before interest, tax, depreciation and amortization. So these earnings normally we compare at various places from period to period within the business, or to compare from one company to another company, say similar industries or near competitors. We used to compare EBITDA percentage for to know which business is doing well. From EBITDA, further if you deduct interest and finance cost, that is called PBT, nothing but earnings before tax. From PBT, further if you deduct tax, that is called profit after tax. So normally contribution percentage, EBITDA, EBIT and EBT. These are all the main financial ratios, financial analysis which you compare within the business, within the company from period to period, from period to corresponding period in the last financial year, or comparing same period with the same period of other companies, nearest competitors, to know financial performance of the various businesses. And if you see this profit and loss account, this is the typical what appears as per prepared as per accounting standards and published in the annual report. Normally, when you look at various annual reports, the profit and loss account look like this only, and from this you can arrive whatever you wanted to have components like sales revenue, operating profit, PBT and earning per share. From this financial statement of profit and loss account, you can calculate yourself EBITDA means here EBITDA you will not get directly. You will get first profit before tax you have here. For the profit after tax, if you add interest, taxes and depreciation, you will get EBITDA. So in financial statements, normally you need to have for comparing various financial performance of the business or with the other companies, sales, operating profit, PBT and earning per share, and various ratios. Of course, I will be covering in the part 2 various financial ratios which we can make out from this profit and loss account for better analysis. For simple example, I am showing you there are two companies, company A and company B. The company A has invested capital of 70 lakhs, 7 million. Here 30 lakhs, B company. A company has borrowed a loan of 30 lakhs with the interest percentage 12% and B company borrowed 70 lakhs. Both the company ultimately they have invested crore of each. And both the companies, they have earned like earnings before interest and tax 50 lakhs each. And of course, they have interest expenses based on their loan borrowings, and ultimately profit before tax is 46.4 lakhs and 41.6 lakhs respectively. And after deducting tax, we have profit after tax here. Now, if I ask you to buy a shares either of the A or B, which company share you will buy? Can you make it from these financials? Some may say that yes, profit after tax is more in company A, so we can buy shares. Not so. If you see, ultimately earning per share in the case of A company is 46, in the case of B company is 97 rupees. Because B company has lesser number of shares than A company. So though B company has borrowed more loan than A company, ultimately due to less number of shares, they could earn more because interest is pre-tax. So thereby earning per share is 97 rupees in the case of B company. So obviously you will buy shares of B company. So let us see balance sheet, what it comprises of. One side it will be assets, another side it is liabilities. The balance sheet normally components, what all the components it include. Asset side we will have non-current asset and current asset. As I mentioned just before, current assets means I already explained. Here current asset includes investments, short-term loans, other current assets, trade receivables, inventories, cash and bank. These are all the current assets. And non-current, obviously, whatever is not falling under current asset, obviously it has to fall under non-current asset. That is called fixed assets, which includes tangible, intangible, and capital work in progress, non-current investments, long-term loans and advances, and other non-current assets. Then when it comes to liabilities, one side it is shareholders' funds, which includes capital as well as reserves and surplus. Reserves and surplus nothing but year on year whatever profits available after payment of dividend, those profits are getting accumulated over here in reserve surplus, which includes other reserves and surplus also includes other components like securities premium. If shares issued at premium, all those premiums getting accumulated over here. And current liabilities and non-current liabilities. Current liabilities normally it includes trade payables to the suppliers of the material and other payables towards short-term borrowings, that is working capital borrowings, etc. And also installments of the term loans which are falling within 12 months due will be classified as non-current liabilities. Current liabilities. And as far as non-current liabilities are concerned, long-term borrowings, that is all term loans and other borrowings, and also term loan installments falling due beyond 12 months will be classified under non-current liabilities. Again, this balance sheet is like published balance sheet format prepared as per accounting standards, and typically all the annual reports of the listed companies will be look like this balance sheet, and from here current liabilities, current assets, all uh, different heads financial numbers you can look at it. So these are all the things for various purposes we will be using for various analysis, which we will cover in part 2, that is called financial ratios. Then when it comes to cash flow, this is again part of annual report prepared as per accounting standard. And cash flow, normally what happens, cash inflows and outflows whatever happened during the financial year are recorded or summarized and shown over cash flow statement. In cash flow statement, there are three main activities will be there under which all these cash inflows or outflows summarized. One is operating activity. Under operating activity, normally cash flows pertaining to selling of goods, providing services or manufacturing goods or cost of sales or advertising, paying employees, salaries, etc. Whereas in the case of investing activities, normally it comprises of cash flows pertains to purchase or sale of land, building, plant and machinery, vehicles, computers, and other equipment. And finance activities are concerned, this is mainly debt related and other equity related transactions are getting summarized in a financing activity. And ultimately for that period, whatever uh, outflow, inflows and outflows and closing of balance, whatever it is shown, it is like a cash and cash equivalent at the end of the period for that particular financial year. Now, so far we understood various components of financial statements, how we can read, how we have to read financial statements. In part 2, we'll understand various key ratios and financial health check and how to read financial statement and how to work out how to manage working capital, certain other things, differences between revenue and capital and fixed and revenue expenditure, all those things let us understand in part 2.